Zepbound 5 mg. How do you hit your calorie goal? Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 107 pounds the last 2+ years of being on Zepbound, with the last year plus being specifically on Zepbound 15 mg. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into a comment that I got from the user blah blah Dracula, which I find hysterical, that username. Of course, this is not medical advice. I always want you to talk to a dietitian and a healthcare provider. This is simply my experience, strength, and hope, punting you to those healthcare providers to see if these are viable options with the solutions I'm going to give you. The last solution that we're going to talk about is one you have not thought of and you need to incorporate into your, something into your routine that you're really going to want to do. From my own experience, strength, and hope, let's dive in. So the comment was from blah blah Dracula. Question: how do you feel about how do you meet your protein and calories and things as you increase your dose? And so I'm saying this for Zepbound 2.5 mg and 5 mg, but this video very well could be applicable to people on higher doses because you may not have experienced this yet. So if you have not, I'm lumping you into this conversation too, but for most people, it's around like the first to the second dose is when they're experiencing this. How do you meet protein and calories and things as you increase doses? Mainly meeting caloric needs, to be honest. If I have to compare that feeling, it's like a chemical bariatric surgery. The capacity is not as much, and we're just trying to be healthy in these streets. If I'm lucky, I hit 1,100 calories most days, and my current number is sustainable, according to the dietitian, is 1,500 calories per day. So I completely get that. I hear you. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. First and foremost, on Zepbound 15 mg, I aspire to go back to that range of where I was so hungry. For me, that passed. And it's not that the medication's not working. It's just my body's adapted. Like how we have opposable thumbs because of we've adapted, right? And so my body has adapted to GLP-1 medication with the GIP and GLP-1 hormone from Zepbound. And so with that, I do always like to share, for me, my experience was that was the case. It is not my current situation. My current situation is I need to be higher than Zepbound 15 mg, and there's just not a brand name out yet that is higher than that on the marketplace. So going back over to the question, how do you meet your protein goals? Always talk with your doctor and dietitian, and the fact that you are talking to a dietitian makes my heart go pitter patter. I love that. I love that journey for you. But with that is figuring out I love archery, by the way. We went on vacation recently and I got to do archery. I love shooting with a bow and arrow. I love it. It makes me so like, I feel like I'm in the Middle Ages, and I love it. So with shooting a bow and arrow, you got to have a target you're shooting for, a bullseye. And if we don't have a bullseye, you're going to miss every single time you try to shoot at a target. So do you know your specific calorie goals? Blah blah Dracula, the user who asked this, does. She had a dietitian tell her 1,500 calories. On my website, countessofshopping.com, there is a free calorie calculator. If for some reason I don't include it in the description link below, which just click the more button down below, you may need to click it twice to see my full list of all the links that I'm talking about in today's video. You can Google Countess of Shopping Calorie Calculator. I got a free one. It's awesome. I intentionally built it on my website so you can go back multiple times. As you lose weight, that number is going to change. For me, as my activity level has changed, so is the calories that I've been consuming. It is not a set number. It continues to move, to be clear on that. So figuring out, number one, figuring out how do I get the calories in? First, I need to know where I'm going. So the fact that you know where you're going, which is aiming for 1,500 calories per day, brilliant. Number two, tracking. I used to get so triggered tracking. If you get triggered tracking, talk to a therapist. That's what I did. Literally, to get over my food triggers, I had to talk to a therapist about it. I track my food not every day, but most days, because a tracked number grows. I find, and there was a study done recently on Americans are typically worse than like our UK friends or Aussie friends. We have new Indian friends because they just got mounjaro out, who are coming into our community, in other countries as they continue to get these GLP-1 medications from Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk with Wegovy and Ozempic. That Americans are not as good in terms of their portion sizes. I learned that when I went to Europe. I was like, oh my, they don't have these large Diet Coke gallon jugs of like milk, but of Diet Coke. They don't have that. So in terms of portion sizes, I haven't been to Europe in a long time though, by the way. I really want to go so badly. So Europe, invite me over. I'd love to go. In terms of portion sizes, I have to track that. because my background is being morbidly obese. And so with that, my food relationship has been distorted. And so undistorting that and unlearning those things has been through tracking. I'm like, oh, that's what a portion size of oatmeal looks like, or that's what a portion size of bread looks like, or that's what a portion size of chicken breast looks like, or whatever, like whatever it is. Tracking that has trained my brain, but still needs continuous loving correction of like, oh, that's not quite in line with what the realistic viewpoint is of what a calorie amount is for me, right? It's taken me some, and so I've had to change my bowls and my plates, by the way. I've shared this in other videos. We had big plates. Now I have salad plates and appetizer plates and small bowls and we use ramekins for bowls sometimes for snacks now. I used to have big bowls for snacks. We have very little bowls for snacks because that also makes me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much. But my portions have changed as a result of GLP-1 medication. So tracking that straight out the gate. Now going back over to the comment that blah blah Dracula wrote, number 2 is she put in here, I'm assuming it's a she, forgive me if you're not a she, sorry if I the wrong pronoun, but it says, I had to compare the feeling, which I thought, by the way, compare the feeling to a chemical bariatric surgery. The capacity is not as much. I love that. I was like, oh, I had that similar thing too of like, oh, I've never had bariatric surgery, but I'm assuming that somewhat feels similar. Like, it's interesting. Like, it's interesting you made that comparison. I did that too. But going back over to tracking, is you said, I am lucky if I hit 1,100 calories most days, which tells me that you're tracking. So number 1, you're doing all the right things. And if you're doing this too, and it's not that there's right and wrong, this is learning. We're learning as we go. For me, I would not chastise a toddler who's learning how to walk because they fell over learning how to walk. Same thing, I would not chastise myself on this morbid obesity journey of learning these things. I am learning. And so if you are learning, high five, mazel to you. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. So you get a gold sticker, blah, blah, Dracula, for figuring out your calories per day to eat. And then to track is the second step. And then the third step in that is if you're doing these things and it's over a period of weeks, like it's going on for weeks, you need to be checking it. You don't need to do anything. I would encourage you, and let me rephrase, I'll use my I statements. I talked to my healthcare provider and a dietitian about that. I went to them and said, hey, I've been not eating as much, and many of you are hyper responders, and so this very much applies for you. If you may need to have the conversation, do I need to decrease dose because it's going too fast? Or space out the days between every 7 days of your Zepbound injection, maybe to every 8 days or 9 days, because it's going too quickly for you. This whole thing, and again, I'm not a healthcare provider, and I don't pretend to play one on the internet, so that is not medical advice. That is for you to have a conversation to ask your healthcare provider who has your medical conditions, who has your health records, who has the knowledge and education, which I do not have and don't pretend to have. If you want me to run a multi-million-dollar business, I'm your girl, but for this other medical stuff, I don't. So talking about decreasing dose or spacing out days in between dose, because it's like a teeter-totter saw. I'm trying to balance side effects with having weight loss. And so is that teeter-totter saw uneven? Is there way more side effects? And that's that's going to make more problems for me, like rapid hair loss and some other issues. And we're going to talk about some other things besides just hair loss. Or am I not losing weight fast enough? There's other people at the other end of the spectrum with that too. But decreasing dose and spacing out may very much be an option for you to talk to your healthcare provider about. Because it's just the GLP-1 is working too well on that teeter-totter saw, that you're having more of those side effects of that decreasing calories is going to lead more than likely to rapid weight loss. And losing weight that quickly, is just not good. It's going to lead to potentially some other problems from a non-medical person who's telling you to go talk to your healthcare provider about that. Number 4, the thing that you probably have not thought about, that I certainly didn't think about, and that I do want to make sure you know, is how tired I got when I was under eating calories. Getting in the bed because I was so tired has been and is very common for me because I'm so tired. When my husband worked with, when he worked at Homeland Security, one of his coworkers like, is your wife always that perky? If she's still watching this video, by the way, I love you to pieces. My husband's coworker, I don't know her name at all, but she said that, my husband said that she had watched one of my videos and was like, is she still perky all the time? And my husband's like, she is, but then after she films her videos, she frequently goes to lay down because it's an energy exchange of sitting on camera. Like after my live streams on Amazon Live and Pin TV and QVC, I literally go lay down on the bed because it's an energy exchange. And so being tired with my job, but it's more than that. For me, not consuming enough calories makes me exhausted and makes me very tired. And if you feel very tired as well, Zepbound has the fatigue component, the Zepbound fatigue component, and being tired is also, for me, very much part of my stories. And I've devoted a whole video to that. It's down on the playlist. Click like and subscribe and go check that out in the playlist. But being tired by not having enough calories is true and is valid. And if you're feeling tired and you're like me and you have a high cadence and rhythm schedule with being a mom and being a wife and having a high workload and blah, 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 all the things on the to-do list, being tired like that, I've had to switch my schedule. Day 2 and day 3, I know in my Google Calendar, it's more of a resting day. I am not going to be a workhorse. Day 5, day 6, day 7, day 5 is the half-life dose of Zepbound. I'm going to work harder and I'm going to work more probably and pick up some of that I had to put down on day 2 and day 3. But that tired component, super, super important to know and to talk about with not eating enough calories. And blah, blah, Dracula, the person who commented this, you very well may be experiencing that too. Now, one of the best things I did for my sleep, this video is not sponsored by Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough, but I love them because it changed my sleep, it changed muscle recovery for lifting for me, and it changed Zepbound constipation. I don't have Zepbound constipation. I switched over to Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough a lot. Now it's been, I think, almost 2 years. It's, or if not 2 years, if very just short of it, because it has 7 types of magnesium in it. It's awesome. You can go to their website and use the discount code Queen, or if you go to Amazon right now, I have a discount code called Countess. So I'll link them in the description link below. But you can shop on their website or you can shop on Amazon. 2 different codes though. That helped my sleep so much, helped the muscle recovery, helped the constipation as well for me. Now, with that tiredness, people don't talk about that enough, I feel like. When you're not eating enough, it is going to affect your energy level because calories are energy. Then the number 5 is the hair loss component. If you're not eating that many calories, you're supposed to eat 1,500, you're having 1,100 approximately. That can affect our hair. It can affect hair loss. And I did a whole hair loss video on that, but it takes 3 months typically to see hair loss and then 3 months to fix it, 6 months total. So in that 3 months, you may be in that window of that 3 months of figuring this out to help prevent the hair loss. Now, one of our viewers comments frequently about hair loss and she's terrified of it. And I get that, that's valid too, like, right? Like I get that. However, I think that there's bookends you can set up to help as safety nets to help prevent, not necessarily completely eliminate, but help and be able to be aware with it. One of them is nutrients. One of the things that I did, oh, I don't have it in here, is my hair loss supplement. I switched over. I'll link it down in the description link below. I like it quite a bit because I can just take a shot of it or put it in smoothies. That's an option. And then I have been using an awesome hair oil too. There's a discount code for them as well. It has been awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm not wearing any extensions. I used to wear extensions. I have no extensions in. This is all my, even if I had extensions, you could still pull on it. But this is all my real hair. This is all. And so I really do love this hair oil. Has been exceptional. Highly recommend. But knowing some of those things about hair, and there's more to hair loss than just that. I'm glazing over it because I have a whole video devoted on that. But the hair loss component, if we're not hitting our calorie goals, that is also one of the other things. And it makes me think of our internal things we can't see. We can see our hair, but what about our organs and our cells and things like that if we're not eating enough? We can do it for a little while, right? And that was what I experienced typically, it was for a couple of weeks and then I went back to eating normally. Or I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, but I will not force feed myself. I won't make myself eat. And that's some of the advice that I had gotten from some dietitians was, well, just force feed yourself. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I feel like then that is a dosing issue for me. And that's something for you to talk to your healthcare provider about. But I'm not, to me, that just seems so superfluous. Like, what? Like, I'm paying, literally I've paid over $15,000 for this medication the last 2 years out of pocket. That seems like such a waste to me. I'd rather be on a lower dose or stretch out the number of days in between my dose. We know half-life dose is on day 5. So if I'm taking that dose, then on the next shot on day 8 or day 9, talking to my healthcare provider a little bit better about that to extend, because eventually for me, that teeter-totter saw eventually played out. Now, some days I eat too many calories, and that's a different horse of a different color. And for that, focusing in on protein, focusing in on nutrient dense foods, which I should be, I don't want to should on anybody, but should be, at the beginning of this journey, literally just learning when to put my fork down, of like, oh, going back to the original comment, like, oh, that's what feeling full looks like. Blah Blah Dracula says, going back to, if I had to compare the feeling, it's like chemical bariatric surgery. The capacity is not as much. And so recognizing for me, like, oh, I'm at capacity. Now I've gone past that. This actually happened to me a couple days ago. I didn't think I was eating that much, but in hindsight, because I tracked, right? Track number grows. It taught me a very valuable lesson. After I ate, I was like, oh my goodness. I ate too much to the point of where I felt like I was going to vomit. Like the food just felt like stack. And I should have stopped earlier in the meal, and I didn't. And so I want to share that with you too, if you have you've experienced that. For me, it's very much been a wake-up call of being mindful and being intentional and savoring my food and literally putting my fork down in between bites. I can't go back to those old habits of where I used to refill my plate 3 times. Thrice. I love, not refills, what are they called? Second helpings. I love third helpings too. Now it's being mindful of the portion that I have, and the portion size is different. And for me, this sounds so cuckoo to some people who don't know or who've not been morbidly obese, or maybe you have been morbidly obese and you haven't experienced this. But for me, one of the things on my morbid obesity, where's the picture I wanted to show? That wasn't the picture I wanted to show. One of the things within my morbid obesity has been learning, and it was kind of like a loss, like a grieving process of, oh, I don't have that anymore. And so there was an accounting, a reconciling of emotions of, oh, I just can't keep eating and eating and eating. My body literally will not let me. My body literally is like, you're full, girl. Stop. Wee-oo, wee-oo. And so paying attention to that, I can either pay attention to that wee-oo, wee-oo, because my body's giving me signals the entire day as long as I'm paying attention to them. And so stopping at that point it's been a whole learning curve. So how to hit your calorie goals: 1, figure out what they are so you have a track number gross. And some people are like, this is too much work. If that is too much work for you, then don't do it, right? Then keep going. But if we keep going the way that we're going, is that really learning anything new? Right? And so learning is the actual applying into action. It's not theory, it's actually applying into action, doing something different and trying that. And you may find, as I have, this is going to take many different iterations of what this looks like. This plan for me over the last 2+ years has changed dramatically from when I first started, 6 months in, 1 year in, 18 months in, 2 years in, to now being a while in, more than two years. So figuring all that out for me has taken a hot second. And this is where I go, babes, fellow turtles unite. If you are a turtle, you're amazing. Because I know some of you watching are like, oh, I wish that was my story. The flip side of the grass is not always greener. If you wish that was part of your story, maybe not. As people's hairs fall out and some of these other things that happen from not eating enough calories and things like that. And by the way, me saying not your hair falling out is not to be henny penny, is not to scare. I know some influencers use this to scare people, to get people to watch their videos and things like that. That's never my intention. It's not. My intention is to help encourage you and to make this a positive space, but being knowledgeable with factually correct information. Which, by the way, going back to factually correct information, one of you beautiful souls, I forget who it was, and you know who you are. Was it Lori? If it was Lori, forgive me if it wasn't Lori. I had said in my video that was on the walking outside, the walking in the park Countess series, the outdoor walking series, that I did not cite my source. And I was so grateful because I forgot. And so thank you. It was an NIH study. And so I went back and put it in there. So if that was you, and I think it was Lori who said it off the top of my head. Thank you, by the way, because I do demand and require of myself to be factually accurate. I literally was playing with my son outside and was like finished playing with him. And then I was like, I had to go back in and go fix this like right now. Do not pass go, do not collect. I had to cook dinner and I was like, I'm not cooking dinner until I fix this. It bothers me that much. Speaking of which, our community spotlight this week is Martha, Robin, Brenda, Virginia. And these are from YouTube, by the way. I don't make these up, but this is from YouTube. And I wanted to say high five for our community. Virginia, Michelle, Rebecca, Maylee, A-Claus, Clokey, Jean, Sarah, Mindy, Daba, Angie, Pamela, Thelma, Fit Cookie, Dawn, Susan, Rachel, Sue, Michelle, Mary Beth, Charlotte, Candy, Leanne. Leanne's like, I want to be on that list so badly. Love you, Leanne. And I just lit your candle too, by the way, today. Charlotte, Mary Beth, Michelle, Candy, Tracy, Danae, Marcy, Alicia, Amy, Tammy, Peter, Karma, Cecilia, Quirky Girl, Stormy, Blue Rose, Connie, Chelsea, Mandy, Margaret, Margot, Ashton, Teresa, Alice, Lori, Monica, Angela, Marjorie, Kelly, and Mary. Whew. Hot, hot, hot. She's hot, hot, hot. So I appreciate you guys too. Okay, so our question of the day, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Number two, our emoji of the day we do to help. It helps me to get to know you better because I really do want to know you and your names. Those people going through, I knew each person, every single one. I'm like, oh yeah, those are my, like, because of the emoji, it sounds so stupid, but it's not. It's also my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought because all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. And our emoji of the day is going to be T, because we've got the T on how to keep our calories right and tight. Hopefully that helped. Again, hopefully that helped. And I feel like as I go through this journey, this probably will continue to evolve. So this is iteration. One of the iterations that I'm sure we'll have as we have more information, we'll learn and we'll change. So is there anything else? Our new free group information went out in the newsletter by the time this video comes out. So if you're not on my newsletter, it's on countessofshopping.com. You can sign up or go check your spam folder. It should be elizabeth@countessofshopping.com is my newsletter email. Don't email that email, but that's where the newsletter comes from. And so it should have all the details in there. That group is, the account and I have invested so much time, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, over $1,000 of our own money to make that group sensational. So excited about it. My sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping, count my blessings because life is delicious. All of the links I mentioned will be listed down below. And if you're looking for travel information of how to travel with Zepbound, go watch that video next. Go binge watch that video next. My sweet friends, be kind to yourself. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button and share this video. Love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.